Hi guys, it's Renegade Rancher. I wanted to do a quick video, I've had people asking, mostly about sustainability, and I've been doing a lot of stuff in this for a really long time, but your sustainability is really going to depend on where you are, what kind of land you have, how much land you have, and a lot of people that are trying to say, yeah, you can be sustainable in just a half acre or a quarter acre. My answer to that is yes, but for how long? If you're just trying to be sustainable for a year, for just a couple people, maybe you've got large stores or have a ton of skills, and a well. There's all these variables. So the biggest and most important thing, as you most all probably know, is water. You have to have a water source, a water supply, a natural one on your land, because a lot of people are really starting to think about all the stores failing, or if they don't, what happens if Amazon, just keeps building all of their grocery stores and it's all just fake food. That's what Agenda 21 says, Agenda 2130. If you don't know about that, please go read it. It's a real thing. So you have to have water, and then you have to have ground that's able to sustain you. And I'm going to say a very unpopular thing today. Vegetables are the least sustainable thing you can do on land. Vegetables and fruit. And again, I've been doing this a long time. I've ranched and farmed in many states. I've talked to a lot of people. I've gardened in all the same states. I've gardened in Georgia, Ohio, Wyoming, a little bit in Nebraska, Arizona, and Texas. In a couple different areas of Texas, northern and southern. Eek, bugs. It's okay unless they're on my arm, and this one was very intrusive. So the land's all different, and your land is going to depend on what either you can do to it or has already been done to it, because not all soil is perfect, and not all soil is created equal, and some soil is just dirt and it's empty. So you can't make a garden on empty soil. And then even poor soil, or soils that are still being worked, can be very susceptible to a lot of different pests, a lot of different other predators, a lot of different funguses and bacterias, depending on what your soil is. So when I say that vegetables are the least sustainable, I'm just being very real. Here we had the Texas freeze in South Texas. I'm in 8B right now, and we were frozen. We didn't get above freezing for 3 days. Some of you northern people are like, oh, that's nothing. Yeah, but in 8B, we don't get that. Our water freeze line is very high. We can plant our pipes within 12 inches and they'll be safe. We don't get freezes for longer than, hey, tonight it's dropping down to 32. Cover your broccoli plants. This killed a lot. Did a lot of water pipe damage. So you have to think about worst case scenarios too, because if you're depending on water pipes at a low freeze line and then you get a 3-day freeze, all of a sudden you're set back and without water for how long? So there's all these variables. But to be sustainable, and I always like rabbits and chickens and quail are probably some of the easiest smaller animals, and ducks. Ducks do need a small water source, but they're good animals, in some ways better than chickens in my opinion. But they all have to be safe at night, and then they have to have food. And so if you're not buying them food, which is against sustainability, your land has to be able to supply them with a proper diet. And by a proper diet, it means one that they would naturally eat. giving them the protein and the vitamins and all of the stuff that they need, because all these animals have to have protein sources. Now, you can plant some, but are you saving those seeds? Because if you're not saving your own seeds, you're not sustainable. You're depending on the seed companies to always be there and to always have enough seeds for you every year. So when you have animals, are you growing most of your crops? Are you saving the seeds? Do you have a way to water them sustainably? And are you able to source enough land to provide food for your animals and you? Other food, meaning vegetables, fruits, legumes, grains, and all of these things in their natural organic state are not bad. So you have to also have the water for all of these animals that can be there constantly. And then you've got certain considerations for babies. Are you going to be able to keep them warm if there's no electricity? Are you going to be able to incubate chickens if there's no power? Do you have chickens that are going to be very prolific and really lay and produce and be a good dual purpose? And if so, are they going to be good mothers that you can use them, when they do go broody? Are they a good broody breed? And if you have to get a second breed for broodiness to raise, the extra eggs and the extra chickens, do you have access to that breed? Do you know what they are? Do you have a place for them to keep them separate from the others so you don't just have this mixed breed, because that's important? Do you have a way of tilling your garden if you can't get, gas? If you can't get gasoline for your tiller, do you have a natural way of being able to dig up a little bit of the earth? Now, I believe in no-till, but initially when you go in, you've got to be able to get what's there up off the ground. We use pigs usually. Pigs eat a lot. They have to have a lot of forest area to be able to forage on, and if you don't have, and move in rotational grazing, but if you don't have that, they have to have a supplement somehow. So pigs are great. Chickens will do a little bit. If you leave them in a small spot, yeah, they'll pull up the grass from the weeds, but they won't turn over the top little bit. There's all of these things to take into consideration. How are you going to get your garden in? So if you already have a garden bed that's tilled, that's sufficient, that's great. Are you able to companion plant it? Are you able to plant it so when you have problems and you have issues and you have like a freeze or something that knocks out a crop, or a flood, or a tornado that drops a tree on your garden, had that. You have all kinds of stuff to consider. What is your backups going to be? And that's what sustainability is about, having these backups, having the whole system working together without any use of outside sources. Yes, it's a lot. It really is a lot, but I do want to say that it's time to think about it now. And there are ways of doing it. There are ways of starting out small and scaling this. And I think that's a manageable way. Some people are under the impression we don't have time to get started now because of the way everything's going in the nation. And some people are, whatever, we have all the time in the world.